All right, some 10 more minutes before 8, and time now for me to talk something that's been very pressing, very current, but also one that if we don't handle well, it will not end well. For us. The Ghana Muslim Student Association says it will not stand down on its directive to its members to stop attending Christian morning devotions in schools. This follows a plea from the Islamic Education Unit of the Ghana Education Service. This morning, I've got the president of that group that issued that press statement that, you know, we talked about yesterday. The national president of the Ghana Muslim Student Association, Husseini Andani Mohammed, joins me. I wanted to say something in Arabic, but it just vanished. So good morning and thank you for your time.
Good morning.
Okay.
And thank you for having me.
Sure. I want to understand better where you're coming from. So I want you to tell us where you had your basic education, your JHS or senior junior high and then senior high. We'll come to the tertiary.
Okay. Alhamdulillah, Rabbi Shrali, Sojiri Wayasali, Amri Wahlil, Ubdat, Min Lisani.
That is not English.
That is Arabic.
Okay. But what does that mean?
What it means is that it's an opening prayer. Muslims say, and we send peace and salutations upon the noble prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his household, his family, and all those who follow the right guidance until the day of judgment.
Okay, so I can say amen to that?
Amen.
All right.
Say that, yeah.
Sure.
Alhamdulillah, growing up in Tamale, I attended the United Primary, which is a combination of Presbyterian and Methodist primary. Then from there, I moved to Chogo Demonstration Junior High School, and from Chogo Demonstration, I attended Business Secondary School in Tamale, reading Business Accounting as my preferred course. And then from there to University of Education, Kumasi campus, graduated in 2013.
Let's talk about your experience when you were in school. Did you attend morning devotion?
I did. Every day, what happens is this. In my school, Methodist, I was in the Methodist section of the United Primary, popularly known as Kulu School. And every Wednesday, we have to go for worship. And if you dodge that worship, you are caned bitterly. Honestly, I nearly stopped attending school because of this issue. One time, I dodged morning devotion, and when I returned, there was one teacher called Nico, and everybody feared him. They told me that Nico was in charge of morning devotion, and he said he will kill you if he gets you. And that nearly scared me from school. So, but moving on to GSS, senior high school, being in Tamale, predominantly Muslim community, you wouldn't have church services. But what we hear from other parts of the country is that even in public schools where the teachers are being paid from the taxpayers' money, taxpayers' sweat, the teachers being predominantly Christian make Muslim students to take part in morning devotion, which are so basically
can we go back to your times in school and that, you know, your morning devotion days? Didn't you learn anything from it, from being there, even though you were forced to be there?
I did. I am a passionate reader, so if you give me a book to read, you can be sure that I will read that. Okay. And we were normally given Bible verses to go and learn. We were given some hymns to go and learn. Even though I can't sing, don't ask me to sing. So basically, I learned a lot about that. But what we didn't like was taking part in the real worship and then singing some certain things that we don't believe in. I don't want to mention some of them.
Okay. So with your experience, I mean, knowing what you've just told me, I'm just wondering, what is wrong with other people experiencing what you experienced?
What is wrong is that, first, you need to ask your some two questions. One, is it constitutional to let them experience it? Two, is it morally right to let them experience it? Now, if your answers to these questions are no, then you don't need to ask me that question.
You attended a combination of Presbyterian and Methodist, but you know that those schools are established on certain foundations, correct?
Correct.
Okay, but if you accept to be in those schools, then it would also be appropriate that you just follow their rules.
Okay, very, very good. And that is where the real debate will start. Now, our point is that these schools were established as faith-based schools. Government has absorbed them And the teachers are being paid from our sweat. Secondly, these schools are established in Ghana, and there are laws in Ghana. Do the laws they make in those schools conform to the laws of the country? Now, if they do not conform to the laws of this country, then it is appropriate that we advise ourselves to follow the laws of the country instead of laws made by others in their places.
Okay, there's something very important that you said, but I would want us to listen to the Minister of Education because he was on Joy FM yesterday morning. She said a few things. When we come back, I'll do a follow-up quickly on something that she said.
Religion is a very sensitive matter, and we need to approach the subject with all the sensitivity and the respect that is required. If the school is a Muslim school, I will not expect that every child in that school, regardless the background, is obliged to conform to certain practices. And the reverse is true. If it is a Christian school, again, you see, and a lot of the schools have done this very, very well, even within the same religion. I went to a Methodist school, and I remember that non-Methodists who came to the school, who were admitted into that school, had parents who said, we didn't want our children to go to the Methodist service. There were schools that will say, if the child doesn't belong to this church, the child cannot come to the school. Even within the same religion we have. Now, across religions, it becomes even more complex.
Yes.
So that's why we need to step back and ask ourselves, what is the school? The school is an environment that allows learning to occur. It should be non-threatening. So coercion of any kind should not be tolerated. The school is a place for children to learn to tolerate, to respect diversity. Okay, and all of these are very important. They are the soft skills that we require in our world today. Understanding, respect for diversity, respect for different opinions, acceptance for things that are not familiar with us. So the broader picture should also guide what it is that we do. Okay, in terms of taking picture and so on, I'm not sure how to respond to that because there are guidelines, and I'm sure all peoples of all religions taking passport pictures will have to take the pictures under certain conditions. And that has nothing to do with education and what it is. But I would like to use this medium to plead with all of us, you know, whatever it is that we think our religion is doing, let it show in the performance of that school. Let it show in the way in which those children relate to each other. Let it show in the way in which the teachers relate to each other and they relate to the children. Let it show in creating a welcoming, non-threatening environment where the best in every child should come out. I hope that we make that our focus.
All right, Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, Education Minister, speaking on the Super Morning Show on Joy FM yesterday. I've still got with me here Hussaini Andani Mohammed, who is the National President of the Ghana Muslim Student Association. So, Hussaini, back to the issue about the Methodist, Presbyterian, you know, those missionary schools being funded by government. If government took its funding out, then would you say they go with the rules that they have?
Oh, mashallah, thank you very much. I asked two questions and I gave two premises. One, I said they are public schools being funded from the public office. I also said that they are built on the land, on the soil of the country, and there are laws governing this country. And we are all, as citizens, must encourage obedience to the Constitution. So whether government takes off his hand or government does not take off his hand, what it means is that it is still in Ghana, and if it is within Ghana, it is very proper that we all advocate for compliance to the Constitution of the country. For instance, if I build a school in my house, within my house, and then I start doing anything within my house, and I'm in Ghana, will the laws of Ghana take me on, or will I be allowed to do that? The same thing should apply to all the schools. And we are not only talking for Muslim students. What we are saying is that even if you have Christian students in Muslim schools and they are being compelled to worship the Islamic way, we are saying that they should also stop that because that is a violation of the constitution of the country.
How about the dressing to school? If I'm not a Muslim girl, once I go to an Islamic school, I have to appear, you know, like they would want me to appear, correct?
Very good. And this is why the issues will, we will have to make some compromises. What I believe is
so
that...
when you're comfortable, we make compromise, but when you're not, we don't.
I am not talking about compromise in a sense, in a general sense. I am talking about where we think that this student does not feel comfortable with the dressing, then she should be allowed. That is what I'm saying. The Muslim students, the Muslim schools must also allow a Christian girl who is not comfortable with the dress they are asking her to wear.
How many?
So we are not only advocating for only Muslims. We are also advocating for the Christians.
And I like that very much.
Yes.
So how many Islamic schools are presently doing this, allowing Christian girls, you know, to dress the way they want to dress to school?
What I know is that we have Suhum girls. And you can find out, I was also told about another school. I do not have the statistics as to how many of them I can be.
But you're saying that you do know that there are some Christian girls in Islamic schools who don't dress Muslim.
Yes.
Okay.
And that is not to say that there are not Muslim schools where they are asked to dress that way, irrespective of their religion. I am not.
Let's go back to Kulikuli School. Did the morning devotion change you in any way? Because you've already told me that you learned some positive things out of it.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Did it change you?
Change me in what sense?
You're still Muslim. Did it affect, you know, you?
What happens is that religion has to do with psychology. And when you go and learn this one and practice, it becomes part and parcel of you. Then if you learn this one again and practice this one, it becomes part of it. Then it comes to a time that you have a conflicting individual within an individual.
Really?
Yes.
We learn French. We learn Spanish.
You see, these things are, you learn language and you speak language. But we are talking about religion, which is purely spiritual and psychological. We are not talking about language. We're talking about spiritual, psychological, and something which involves physical practice.
So can I then conclude that it had some psychological effect on you?
It has. And the thing is this. One thing, when you go and sing, you say Jesus is God, you say the Son is God, the Holy Spirit is God, and God is God. You have three things. Then you come to the Islamic perspective and they tell you that we have only one God. Then you have a child at a certain level trying to figure out how this can happen. You understand? This is what we are trying to prevent. If somebody is taught from his background that we have three gods.
So did you get confused about which God you're believing in as Hussein?
We have different individuals. I had a very strong Islamic background. And somebody may not be fortunate to have that.
So your fear is those who are not fully matured?
Yes.
Maybe confused?
Yes. Those who are not fully matured and those who do not have strong Islamic background. Those who do not have who did not get the opportunity to study Islam. They may have problems. You understand?
Do you have examples of some of these people?
Yes, we do. One DCE called me and then told me that, oh, I have my child attending this school, and when the child attended, and the child was telling me that Jesus is God.
But
I'm coming. Then we have an instance where you have a Muslim student saying that that Jesus is God, the Son of the Holy Spirit is God, and then you ask these people and you get to know that they don't even know what they are talking about. Where did they learn that? They say my teacher said that.
Have you said Jesus is God before?
We were singing songs like that in the primary school. Yes, we did. And that is for us in Islam. In Islam, I'm not against anybody saying, but we're saying for us in Islam, we say that that's blasphemy.
So so it is wrong for a Muslim to say that?
No, we don't say.
Just saying that.
God is only one, according to the Muslim perspective. We are not in any way against somebody saying God is three. We are not. We are saying that for us, based on our understanding, God is one, based on the revealed book that we have with us.
Can we come to the fact that, you know, that this generation is not the first. We've had the people who have been ahead of us, who've been through this thing that we're talking about. Why has this become an issue now? You are the president, you are the leader of the Ghana Muslim students. Why has this become an issue? Why are you leading this agenda when it hasn't been an issue in the past?
In fact, it has been an issue in the past. From 1972 till now, it has been an issue, and many people, many generations have sought to solve this issue.
I don't remember any
You don't remember, that is what I'm trying to say.
Any statement?
That is,
wait,
you understand me.
Hang on, let me just finish this one. I can't remember any statement being issued and any statement saying that don't go on morning devotions.
There are stages to everything. There were stages, other strategies were adopted and they didn't work. Even me, after taking over in December 2013, I used those strategies again and they didn't work.
What strategies are you talking about?
Very good, that is what I'm talking about. From time immemorial, we have been writing letters to the schools, the headmasters concerned, meeting them individually, and some of them will testify that we have met them. We met with the Ghana Education Service severally. We have written several petitions to the Ghana Education Service. We have written severally to Shiraj, and they never acted on it. Just recently, two nurses were sacked from the Tamale Teaching Hospital for the way they dress. Then we wrote to the Ministry of Gender because they were women. We expected them to take an action. They told us
and that sack letter clearly, indicated that it was because of the way clearly they were dressed.
I'm going to quote that due to her unprofessional outlook and conduct, which is dangerous to our patients.
And this was in the Tamale Hospital. How long ago?
Tamale Teaching Hospital. And that was October 2013. That is the latest incident. The first incident occurred in 2009. The latest October 2013.
Do you also respect the fact that it could be the profession and their own code of dressing?
I'm coming. I think
because you cannot go to the military or the police dressed anyhow.
If you allow me, you asked a question earlier on. I was trying to tell you that something has been done.
I get it.
But we didn't bring it to the public domain.
We'll come back to that. But you know that when you make points, because it's a conversation, I can also ask you quick clarifications on those. And we will get to the bigger question that I asked you. But just answer this one for me. Do you also recognize that when it has to be a profession, when it's a profession, the code of dressing that go with it?
Very good. It's important that we understand that every profession may have some code of dressing. But go and find out if the nursing code of conduct has something in it that prescribes the dresses.
I know one of your leaders, very respectable Islamic scholar, whose wife is a nurse, who has to go to work like any other nurse that we see in the country. And I'm telling you that
there is no law in the nursing code of conduct that prevents nurses from wearing long dresses or wearing the veil. There is no law, and that is what I'm saying. So if somebody somewhere sits and tells you that you should wear this kind of dressing, I am saying that it is against your human rights, and you have the right to tell the person that I don't want to show this part of my body. This is the part that I want to show. Even though I love my profession, I love taking care of people, I love being part of the caring system of Ghana, but this is the way I want to dress. And my dress, we should not judge people by the way they dress.
Okay, so let me allow you to go back to the strategies that you had used that you say that didn't work, the reason you decided to issue a statement this time around.
Yes.
And I think the other follow-up that I asked was, why are you doing this now?
Okay, we have followed all these years trying to solve this issue without even coming out to the general public, without telling everybody that this is what is happening. But all these methods didn't work. Then this year we said, okay, what we're going to do is that we're going to do two things. We're going to repeat writing to all the stakeholders we know, Ghana Education Services, Shiraj, the Gender Ministry, and all that, the Ghana Health Service. They will tell you in the Nurses and Midwifery Council of Ghana, they will tell you that we wrote to them this year. We say, okay, we'll repeat that. If it doesn't work, then we move on to another stage, which we call stakeholder consultation, which we will consult with the larger Muslim stakeholders, the Muslim community. And it was the first stage, again, didn't work. It has failed again as it failed in the past. Now, it's okay, let's move on to the next stage because we had 4 steps. Now, say, let's move on to the next step. The next step was stakeholder consultation, getting the Muslim community aware of what was happening and telling them that this is a clear violation of the constitution of the country. And as Muslims, we should be biddable, we should be interested in obeying the constitution of this country. And we should realize that an injustice done to any citizen of this country is an injustice done to all of us, particularly since we are the victims. Then we got involved, the Chief Imam's Office, the Shia community, the Muslim Caucus of Parliament, all of them. Then we said, okay, this is our third
So that
step.
also failed?
It didn't fail. And that is what it was. We said, this is our third step. They said, the Muslim caucus said, okay, then don't worry. We're going to organize all of you and we'll meet the Peace Council. And we believe that there it will solve. So we met the Peace Council on the 18th of February. And
February 2015.
2015, yes. I said, okay, we are there. The Peace Council gave us assurances. And I must say that we have absolute confidence that they will come out with a workable stratagem to solve this problem, and then to ensure real religious tolerance in this country. And then I must say that we have absolute confidence and trust in the capabilities, the wisdom, and the conflict resolution nature of the Peace Council.
Okay,
yes.
So the Peace Council, during the meeting also say that go and issue a statement, the one you did.
They did not. In fact, and we went back home and we were relaxed, hoping, particularly from the National Secretariat, if you will understand that, apart from this press statement, we did not say anything to the public from the National Secretariat. So, we kept quiet and we were observing events.
Can I ask, does it mean the Peace Council had resolved the issue, or it is still in the process of?
The Peace Council has not communicated to us any step taken.
Okay.
So far.
So you went to the Peace Council. Peace Council assured you that we're coming up with ways of addressing this issue, and then you issue a statement.
The statement we issued, in effect, was a rebuttal to the militant nature poster taken by the PRO of the Ghana Education Service. Basically, that was what it was.
What kind of militant posture are you talking about?
In fact, he over the years he has been like that. And
who exactly are you talking about?
We are talking about Parker Alote.
Charles Parker Alote.
Alote, yes, the PRO of the Ghana Education Services. Many of our parents have met him on several occasions, and he has been consistent. And we believe that what he is doing means that he has a particular agenda to pursue. And let me tell you this. Silently, the Muslim student has been singing the Lord's Prayer since time immemorial.
I'm trying to find it difficult because Charles Parker Alote speaks for the Ghana Education Service. So I don't know what kind of posture you're talking about.
Very good.
You're blaming him, and you're saying that your statement was a rebuttal to his attitude over the years.
Yes, very good.
But do you also appreciate that I think just about a week before your statement, the Ministry of Communication had issued a statement?
Yes, we did. And if you read our statement, you will see that we first started by commending the government for the constitutional stance it has taken. Then, before we went on to make our point on the, if Charles Parker Alote is speaking for the Ghana Education Services, then we are talking about the Ghana Education Services. That means that inside the Ghana Education Services, they are trying to make sure that the Muslim student will not have peace of mind to learn. And that should be a worry to all Ghanaians, not only Muslims.
But we have to end this, but I just want to also ask, do you expect, now that you've issued a statement and this whole conversation is ongoing, in effect, you're inciting Muslim students to disregard rules of their schools? Do you still expect the Peace Council to come up with anything?
I must say that in no sense do I advocate for violence, but I am saying that if laws are made somewhere to contravene the constitution of the country, all Ghanaians must be worried. So
do you think you can solve this as Muslim Students Association? Essentially, that's what I'm asking, because if the higher authorities say it's good that you've come to us, we're thinking of ways to address this, because I engaged the Christian Council of Ghana, and they also did confirm, that they had a scheduled meeting with the Peace Council because a lot more issues had come up that they had to sit down and talk about and try to resolve. They were not even happy that government, had just issued a statement coming to the issue. So I'm surprised, after this action, do you still expect, if you think you can handle it?
In fact, the thing is that I expected the Peace Council to be quick in handling this issue.
So it's because they've been slow?
By now, I expected that they would have called all the stakeholders for us to come and sit down and then talk about this and then see the way forward. By now we should have known what is the roadmap and what we should be doing, and that will help. Secondly, if the Christian Council is unhappy with the stance of the government, we are saying that we have nothing against the Christian Council. What we are saying is that all Ghanaians should come and support us for us to make sure that the constitution of this country is respected, the constitution of this country is obeyed, the constitution of this country is seen as the supreme law of this country, and no law anywhere should be seen more than the constitution. We have nothing against the Christian Council.
All right, I'd like to say thank you for your time.
Thanks a lot for having me.
And Danny, I've got to wrap up with some messages that you sent, but I'll bring it back after talk. Stay on for Roland Walker. He's got all the talk.